Yeah. What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here with my review of Wonder Woman 1984. Before we do anything, I got criticized for my reaction on this video, and I want to share this with you guys. Check us out at linktr.ee/select screen on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Specifically, this one was on YouTube. I want to go back into the past and let you guys hear what I said first before we do this reaction, before we get anything started. Peep this real quick. Let's go. All right, that was a little cringeworthy at the end. January 3rd, 2020. My reaction is this seems I'm just trying to look up something real quick. Barbara Minerva, aka Kristen Wiig's character. This movie looks like it's in trouble, and let's go. All right, selectors, here's the deal, man. Show you guys why. I told you guys. I'm not going to mention any names because that's not what we do on this channel, man. We're not going to put people on blast. But I told you guys back in January when we saw the reaction, when we reacted to this trailer, I was like, there's something wrong with this movie. The tone, I believe the title of this was Wonder Woman 1984 Reaction. Please pick a tone. And there was a commenter who I want to hear back from them. I'm going to check back in with them after this video. But there's a comment on this. I don't think they were even a selector. But they said, you're the only person on the internet right now saying that this movie has a tone problem. And let me tell you guys, my suspicions, my thoughts, my reaction was 100% on. And I'm not saying all this to be braggadocious. I'm saying this because, selectors, I'm going to always be honest with you guys. And that is one of the problems with this movie. This movie is absolutely terrible. This is a terrible movie. Now, I want to put a disclaimer on this movie, or on this reaction, this review. The first movie, in my opinion, is probably the best DC superhero movie. I would put it up there with some of the better Marvel movies, if we're going to go that route. The original Wonder Woman was what I thought was heightened reality, right? That's what Marvel does very, very, very well. That's what a lot of movies do. They take a real world kind of tone and then they go a little higher, right? I'm thinking of, like, I don't know. Marvel's the closest thing. We got to try and compare apples to apples as much as possible here. Let's take Iron Man, okay? Iron Man, again, if you had lots of money, super good intellect, you could be Iron Man. Wonder Woman, well, again, her powers were a little more fantastical. I don't know if that's a word or not, but the Wonder Woman movie was so grounded in war and the horror of war. And it showed how it separated her from Superman and Batman in the sense that she's a different kind of hope than Superman is. She's a strong female, but they didn't like throw that at us. They just showed us an awesome female superhero, and she was great. Gal Gadot, I think I'm saying her name right. Absolutely great. Let's talk about, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about what works in Wonder Woman 1984. Because believe it or not, there are some things that work. I want to try and keep something positive in here. one of the things that does work is, honestly, the acting is not bad. My guy who plays, his name's escaping me, but one of the main villains, and we'll get into this, is the gentleman from Mandalorian, Pascal. I'm butchering his name, but basically he's known for, I think, definitely The Mandalorian, and some other kind of cult classics. He plays Max Lord, and yeah, his acting is really good. Kristen Wiig as Barbara, aka the Cheetah, her acting is good. Gal Gadot acting good. Trevor, aka Captain Kirk, good. It's good. It's, in that sense, it's believable. Okay. But what doesn't work here is any kind of story development. So we'll get into that into villains here real quick. Other positives in this movie. Spoilers, we're going to put a spoiler alert on this, is that Wonder Woman finally has her complete power set. One of the things that was lacking in the first movie, and I didn't really take any points off on this because it was an origin story. We were getting there, and this brings me to another problem, but ultimately we did not see Wonder Woman's jet, and we did not see her fly, right? She kind of jumps and then that happens. This movie shows us that. Does it solve the issue of how she gets it? Yes, but that brings me to the negatives. How they do things, it's completely stupid. I can't put it any other way, guys. It's completely stupid. One of my coworkers, shout out to Christy Logan, said that it's emotional in the wrong places. And that's exactly the problem with the tone of the movie. It's emotional in the wrong places. We're seeing right now, Wonder Woman as a little girl. And this scene specifically, my wife and I were watching this and we were going, why? Why are we going back to a young Themyscira again? And at that point, my wife said, why? Like, where was this filmed at? And my response was, in somebody's computer, in somebody's basement. I mean, it looks, the movie in general looks really bad. And when I say it looks really bad, I'm talking about the graphics look bad. There's scenes where it's like, obviously CGI. There are times where simple things completely look awkward. And again, I gotta say this, I'm not the hugest fan of the 80s aesthetic, but they didn't use the 80s for anything other than it was the opposite of the war-torn poverty. This was like consumerism, I can't say that word, but you get what I'm saying. Being a consumer, buying everything of the 80s. There's no 80s music. There's no 80s feel. They tried to kind of do this Christopher Reeves flying moment, and it just looks terrible. The worst part about this movie is that in most movies, even when your superhero gets beat up, ultimately they still look heroic, right? There are a lot of scenes in this movie where Wonder Woman, when we see Wonder Woman, because that's a problem too, we don't get a lot of Wonder Woman. We get a lot of Diana, not a lot of Wonder Woman. When we see her, she's literally like beaten and sitting on her butt, like. And most of the time in these superhero movies, even when they're losing, your superheroes still look good. And not that Gal Gadot looks bad at all, but what I'm saying is they really, like, she gets kind of beat up by Cheetah, and I mean, her hair's like jacked up, like they just didn't put her in hair and makeup at all, which is really weird. And I'm not talking about like scratches and scars and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. My wife just said, it's like she just came from the gym, and it's weird. It was just a weird choice. Now, again, we want to see her, not just look perfect all the time. I get that. But it was like, what it was is it looked like there were times where she was wearing a wig. That's what I'm trying to get at. Not that she's not beautiful or whatever, but it just looked like a bad wig. That's what I'm trying to get at, and that's what I'm trying to say there. The worst part, though, I got to get to this thing again. Not a lot of Wonder Woman, but when there is, the CG and the decisions made are crazy. So, just to give you an example, again, spoilers here. Wonder Woman, and I think his name's Trevor, her love interest, are in this car. It's in this scene that we're seeing here, right? And you see that she's running there. They're actually in the car together. They buy this car from this guy to stop Max Lord. And they're driving, a high-speed chase or whatever. And she literally opens the door, hops out and starts running. It literally looks like this, guys. I'm going to show you what the effects look like right now. Driving a car. She opens the door and goes. It's that bad. I just did better effects than that scene. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And I feel so bad for these actors because, again, they deserve better. They deserve better. Gal deserves better. There is the reason that her love interest, again, I think his name is Trevor, comes back is all based upon wishes. Give me my camera. Wishes, y'all. They're literally wishing upon a rock. And that is the whole MacGuffin of the movie. Does that sound familiar? It sounds like the Infinity Stones, but not as good. It's a random rock that we get some dialogue. And they're like, oh, that's the rock from this god. And if you didn't listen to that, you missed the whole point and the whole motivation in the movie. And this rock, she wishes to bring Trevor back. She has to eventually renounce that. And so does the rest of the world. Now, keep in mind, the whole world is affected by these wishes, right? At one point in time, at the end of the movie, everyone in the world's making wishes. If you make a wish, whatever you want, you can get it. But Max can take what he wants back. And guys, this is just so crazy because this movie takes place in 1984. We know that eventually Batman versus Superman is going to happen, where Wonder Woman debuted. And guess what, guys? Nobody remembers anything. It's so weird. I'm sure there are people who did not renounce their wish in this movie. And guys, it just doesn't connect. It doesn't make sense. It's just, hey, we did this movie and the world was supposed to renounce all of their wishes, and they probably didn't, but that's where we're leaving the movie. Another thing that just doesn't make sense is, as the wishes are being renounced, right, and Max Lord is standing in this tube or this ray of light, we don't know why, she somehow puts the lasso around him and he doesn't realize it, and she starts speaking, basically talking to the whole world on why they need to renounce their wishes. Follow me here, because I'm just as confused as you are. She's talking to the whole world, renounce your wishes, in 1984. Why then is she trying to hide her secret identity throughout the movie? It makes no sense. Because again, in Batman v Superman, Nobody knows her. But everyone, including Batman, the world's greatest detective, has heard her voice before. It's bad, guys. It's bad. It's, to be honest, if I had to rank the worst DC movies, I'm going to actually make this one the worst. I know a lot of you are going to be upset with me on that because you're going to say Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was terrible. Guess what? Suicide Squad's first and second act are actually pretty good. It's the third act when we start doing all this weird dancing and stuff. That's when Suicide Squad. Better than this movie. It has a solid plot. It has a solid goal. How it gets there? Okay, we can talk about that. Let's see. A lot of people don't like Man of Steel. Man of Steel, to me, is one of the better DC movies. Why? Because it did what Batman or Superman Returns didn't. Superman actually fought. He did what he was supposed to do. He's a Man of Steel. Another movie that gets a lot of crap, and you've probably heard me talk about it myself because I did not like this movie, Batman v Superman. The characters do a lot of stupid decisions in Batman versus Superman. But at the end of the day, all of the characters at least had motivations, and they moved through those motivations, and the story ended up doing something. It made some kind of sense. So that's my thoughts, guys. I know in the comments it's going to be a war, but if you see this on HBO Max, you already have HBO Max. Great. If you're thinking, should I get HBO Max for this? Absolutely not. The action scenes are bad. The acting's good, but the story completely falls apart. CGI falls apart. Again, the reason for her love interest to come back is very stupid. And then, this is my last point on this, for me ragging on this movie, is that when she renounces everything, we don't even see him disappear. We don't see what happens to him. He's just gone. There are characters just plucked right out of the story who we're supposed to have an emotional contact with. So it's rough. It's very, very rough. And what's crazy is Patty, I think her name is Patty Jenkins, is the director of this movie. She did a great first movie. This one was bad. DC has got some serious problems. They, as you're going to see in the title of this video, 2 steps forward with Shazam. I felt Aquaman was going in the right direction. And then they had some hits. They had Joker. They had, the Batman looks great. It looked like we were turning the corner on this. And then we took 8 steps back with this. If this is what DC is going to put out, we're in trouble. We're in trouble, DC fans. This has gotta change. And like I said, they've already greenlit Wonder Woman 3. I don't know. That's where I'm at. You guys let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. We again give letter grades here. This movie is an F. This movie is by far an F. Is it worth seeing? No, because it doesn't even move the DC universe forward. So no, it's not. You can totally not watch this movie and be 100% okay. So that's my thoughts. Sorry for being negative, Nancy. Check out Elmo172331's review of Soul, which you'll see down below. Spoilers, Soul is great. I haven't totally finished it myself, but everything I've seen is basically the opposite of Wonder Woman. Great character development, and Elmo talks about that a lot more. Great job, Pixar. All right, so guys, I need you to do one thing for me. Be kind to each other. Be careful of these terrible movies. Remember to choose your destiny. We're at linktr.ee/select screen. Make sure to hit that like, that share, and that subscribe button for me. Helps out the channel so much. We appreciate each and every one of our selectors, even if we don't agree on movies. So with that, until next time, remember to choose your destiny. I'm out.